The bee's got it.
You're dead as a doornail, Smalls. You're dead as a doornail, Smalls. Smalls, you mean to tell me that you went home and swiped a ball that was signed by Babe Ruth, and you brought it out here and actually played with it?
Yeah, but I was gonna bring it back.
But it was signed by Babe Ruth.
Yeah. You keep telling me that. Who is she?
What?
The Sultan of Swat.
The King of Crash.
The Colossus of Clout.
The Colossus of Clout.
Babe Ruth!
The Great Bambino.
What is going on, movie lovers and butt smokers, and welcome back to another episode of 5 on It. We are your hosts. I am Francisco.
And I'm Sir Fraser.
And on today's episode, we are reviewing a classic, a sports coming-of-age kids classic.
That's right.
As of lately, we have been diving into some 90s, and this is no different. When I say you're killing me, Smalls, I think everybody kind of knows what I'm talking about. Today, we are reviewing the 1993 David McKay Evans directed The Sandlot. But before we go any further into that, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, throw down some of your favorite Sandlot moments, maybe throw in some of your favorite kids classics when you were growing up. But Sir Fraser, tell the people what we're smoking on.
Man, we're back at it again with the Dougie Blunts. This is the Gorilla Glue.
Yes, sir.
Man, always hits. We recently did best the 90s action movies. I mean, this era is just so rich with movies, and it covers so much ground. I mean, we wanted to do a sports movie. We hadn't done one of those, and we also wanted to do a kids movie, and we ended up settling on, this movie, which is, one of the best, not only kids movies, but I would say live action. I'm sorry, not only live action movies from the 90s. And this is this era has some really stiff competition. I mean, just in terms of live action alone, dude. I mean, we got Little Giants, Matilda,
Jumanji,
Little Giants,
Dennis the
Jumanji,
Menace.
Hook,
Richie Rich.
the Mighty Ducks, 1, 2, and 3.
Three Ninjas.
Three Ninjas, you know what I'm saying?
Jingle All the Way. Hook. Did you say
Toy
Hook
Story,
already?
Aladdin.
The Ernest movies.
You lost me there.
Get out.
Honestly, Hocus Pocus, and a movie that we reviewed not too long ago, House Party.
Yep.
I mean, that's a coming-of-age movie, dude. 10 Things I Hate About You. I mean, this movie just offers a treasure trove of just great movies, and we ended up choosing this one, which just, this dropped in 93, so we literally just passed the 30-year anniversary.
Yeah.
But, diving into this movie, we're going to the quick summary for those who haven't seen this. During a summer of friendship and adventure, one boy becomes part of the gang. 9 boys become a team, and their leader becomes a legend by confronting the terrifying mystery beyond the right field wall. It's got a really, really solid cast. You have the legend James Earl Jones as the next door neighbor.
I mean, you've got Darth Vader to be the last, or to be the villain's owner, to say, because they're out, obviously they're afraid of the dog, and then you find out the owner is actually James Earl Jones.
Mm-hmm. We got Tom Guiry, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Mike Vitar, who people will recognize from D2, The Mighty Ducks, and D3. He plays Benny, the Jet.
Man, I'm kind of surprised though. Besides, what's his name? The guy that's in that plays Ham.
Patrick Renna.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't really seen
most of the other guys.
Yeah. I mean, the picture. Wasn't he in what's that movie called? Don't Look Under the Stairs, or People Under the Stairs.
All right. Oh yeah.
Isn't that him in that movie?
Yeah. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. He was also in the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
He's been in some other pictures for sure. Also, of course, got to give a shout out to Denis Leary. He's plays the stepdad in this. I'm
just surprised. I haven't seen they didn't really. I mean, I'm sure maybe they had solid careers, but I don't think any of them are quite household names, unfortunately.
Yeah, that happens often with kid actors. Some of them, this was their first and last picture too.
But I'm sure they're still eating pretty decent because this movie gets shown a lot.
Well, I mean, also, this movie is beloved by a generation. So I think this movie has a lot of staying power as well. Very rewatchable. This movie, it deals with the outsider who is new to a neighborhood, really doesn't have much connection to his stepfather, or just being the new kid, right? And he ends up befriending this group, this crew of kids who, most of them are in their, I would say that they're in their early teen years, so like middle school.
Yeah.
So I actually read that these kids had to go to like 2 weeks of baseball camp, or baseball kind of like training, just to kind of help get I guess I take it not all of them played.
They were all pretty much like the kid when he started. They didn't know how to throw.
You throw like a girl,
which is kind of surprising, man.
Like, you said, you play ball like a girl.
Yeah, you play ball like a girl, man. While watching watching Smalls just like try to, obviously catching the ball is one thing. Catching a pop fly is not like, it could be easy for some, but it could be a little tough for other people. But throwing a ball, I'm like, that's one thing that I just look at, just kind of funny.
The scene where he's playing catch, he's trying to, connect with his stepfather, and his stepfather's working, and the mom's like, "Come on, play catch with him." And when you see him throw the ball,
you understand why he's been putting it off,
bro. No, first when he throws the ball, he misses it. He picks it up and runs it over.
Yeah. Just sets it back into his glove, like, here you go.
Here you go. Yeah. Yo, and the look he gives him is just like, my God.
Like, what the hell are you doing? And then didn't he do that with I can't remember if he did it with the stepdad or the boys, when he kind of just rolled it back to him.
Yeah, he brought it back too.
I swear those one
to Benny.
Was
right?
it Ben?
I
I
think
thought
Benny
those
was
one where
batting.
he kind of threw it down. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but Smalls is definitely not he's definitely not an athlete.
Yeah,
and he was already behind the 8 ball a little bit because when he's doing the narration as an older age,
he was an 07 weenie.
Yeah, an L7 weenie. Which, dude, like they're all like clowning him and shit. Like, oh, he's a nerd. He's an L7 weenie. Blah blah. I'm like, bro, all of y'all are fucking nerds.
Yeah,
you guys are all geeks. I don't see any girls around here. I don't see any cool kids around here. Like, what the fuck?
Benny is the coolest.
Benny is by far the coolest.
He's
dude
the baller.
There. Yeah. So it's like, bro, you calling this kid a nerd just because he can't throw? It's like, come on, bro.
I just
chill.
love the introductions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Colossus of Clout. The two brothers.
Yeah.
The younger one constantly repeats.
Were they referred
him.
to as twins though?
No, they weren't twins.
I thought they said like they were twins. I was like, all right.
One of them was you could tell one of them was definitely the younger, but he like looked up to his sibling, was repeating everything.
I love how he finally told him to shut up because he was going apeshit with the with the echo. But dude, when they were, like you said, when they were introducing the kids and they introduced Yeah, I was like, this kid looks like a younger version of Pauly D.
Oh wow!
From the Jersey Shore. Bro. I'm like, if you take his hair and just spiked it up, bro, he looks exactly like a younger version of Pauly D.
That's hella funny.
But that's an easily one of like the pros of this movie is the kids.
Oh yeah,
just watching them like kind of go through their summer and all that, like getting in trouble, like whether it's with like tobacco or getting it with the crew of other ball players.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are easily like probably like the biggest highlight of the movie.
Yeah, and I agree. And we've seen movies and we've talked about movies. I think Child's Play is probably the one that comes to mind where the child acting isn't really up to par or there's a lot to be desired there. And, you're working with child actors and, some of them, their experience is limited often, right?
Yeah.
And so with this crew, the chemistry was just very apparent. These felt like we were literally we felt like we were in the park or on the diamond with them watching these kids play.
Yeah, we're like we just pulled up with
the chemistry was great.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they play off of each other. You've got Porter. He's cracking jokes. Squints. You got a lot of personalities here, but it feels very genuine. Right? It doesn't feel like these kids are acting. It looks very believable.
Yeah, easily. Where would you want to go to next, man? Another like I say, if we want to talk about like highlights of this movie, easily one of like the best highlights is the one on, not say the 101, I'd say the 909 with the other group of kids.
Oh yeah,
like when they're finally like they've Smalls have earned his respect, and now they're going through their summer vacation and all that. They get ran up on by a couple of other like kids, and they get called out. And Porter's just going tit for tat with the other group leader. Well, I guess Porter is like the unspoken leader. Yeah, he's the loudmouth. So like when there's some shit to be talked, he's the one that steps up. But that's the easily like probably my favorite scene of the movie is him going back and forth, and then when he finally lays the "you play ball like a girl," that just sets off the kid.
Yeah. That was a good scene, and then they proceed to like beat the brakes off of these kids when they actually played them, which was great. I think one of the highlights for me is these kids. I mean, are clearly enamored with the game of baseball and just the legends of it, and that's where the root of the conflict is that Smalls is not a ball player like that. He's not very informed about the history of the game, and he, in an act of desperation, steals his stepdad's baseball, which was signed by Baby Ruth.
Oh, that's the same guy?
The Colossus of Clout. The Sultan of SWAT.
Dude, but then as soon as they get back to the field, and he knocks the home run like right out of the park. Dude, at first I'm like, this kid, I mean, they haven't even shown him even like hitting the ball yet. And this dude gets the first at bat, and now he just knocks it out of the park. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. But kind of like it goes back to the ending a little bit, where it's like, man, why didn't you kids you could have easily just saved yourselves some time, just knocked on the damn door.
Well, that's true, but I also love like the lore that they built up around that house and the dog. The forever, the black and white.
Yeah.
Flashback where, Squints is just landed on thick about how this house is owned by a mean old man who has a dog that kills kids, has literally eaten children, and how the cops basically, forced him to chain this dog up. Otherwise, they put him down. And that's kind of the lore around this house. So it's a bit of it's a source of fear for these kids. And of course, their baseball diamond is literally right behind this house. So when they lose the ball, when they hit the home run, the ball is good as gone.
Oh yeah,
because they're not
the old rickety ass fence too.
And I love just the shots of the kids looking at the dog from behind the fence. You see this large, clearly fake paw scoop the ball out, or when the dog clearly, and again like an actual prop, he like jumps up and catches the ball in the air. You're just.
Well, then I was thinking too. I was like, unbelievable. If that dog got that ball was never gonna make it. I think it might be clogged a little bit hard to hit. But that's also a highlight too, is like when they're going through kind of the sequence of trying to get the ball back.
Yeah, that's a really good
And
highlight.
it just kind of progressively gets a little bit more intricate as it goes on. Yeah, and honestly,
nobody turned off the vacuum.
The vacuum though was a pretty good idea.
No, that was a great idea. But when it gets when the dog pinches the pipes and they're unable to, like, everybody just runs out of the treehouse, which also was a fly ass treehouse,
bro. I know, like, damn, that's one of the childhood thing I never had was like a treehouse. I didn't know anybody with a treehouse, to be honest. Did you know anybody with a treehouse?
No.
Yeah.
I would see them.
And I knew some white kids too.
None of us. We were all in the trenches.
I know. But yeah, like honestly, that was actually a pretty good idea. But as soon as the dog pinches it, and the thing's just going, and he's like, "Turn it off!" And the kid's like, "I can't." Is that, I'm like, bro? Unplug the fucking thing. What are you talking about? Just unplug it. But then when when you see all the kids getting the fuck out of that treehouse, bro, I'm like, 2 of them did front flips outside. 2 of them got broken backs, and 2 of them aren't walking anymore. And then another one, I think there was a third one that actually did another front flip. The last guy.
Well, the slow motion of it too is like, yo, this is executively produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. I had no idea.
Even at the end, when Benny is running from the Beast. And he finally goes back to the Sandlot and he jumps over. Like the first time he went over, landed on his feet, and he kept running. But then the second time he does a front flip, lands on his back. I was like, bro, you need to start landing on your feet a little more because you can't keep doing these front flips and landing on your back, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's another highlight for me, though. I love, the dream sequence, right, where he has the dream about Babe Ruth. And he gives him that great line, what was it line?
About heroes and legends. Heroes are remembered, but legends never die.
Yeah, legends never die. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's an iconic line.
That's a cold line, yeah.
Yeah, and then the next day, he's lacing up the shoes. That was the P7 Flyers,
yeah,
the PG Flyers, something like that.
That'll make you jump higher, run faster. The PF Flyers.
PF Flyers. There we go,
bro. It's like they are the same exact shoes that he had on, except for they switched out the
them Chuck Taylors.
I know. Are those off-brand Chuck? Are those Shaqs?
Oh man, but that's a highlight for me when he laces up. You see him lace up the new shoes. And then he, gets over the fence. And the whole chase scene is so much fun, dude. I love that where they're watching the werewolf movie and the dog jumps through the screen. Yeah. That was a fun scene. The weddings with the cake.
And you got the soundtrack is really good, too. Oh, yeah. You got the little Wipeout, too, to play along with it.
Also, earlier, the soundtrack is very fun. I mean, Tequila, when they that's another highlight. When they who was it? It was one of the kids brings some chewing tobacco.
Yeah, it was. Which kid was?
This is one of the taller kids.
The one with the glasses.
Yeah,
it was
not Squints.
Grover. Grover Weeks. And it was so funny too at the end, like when they're going through the montage, like what happens with the kids. They're like, Grover just got really into the 60s and nobody ever saw him again. It's like, and he was the one that brought the tobacco to the party. I think we know why. And it's so funny, like they're kids too. And they're talking about like, oh, it's chewing tobacco. And like, what do you do with it? You chew with it, you idiot. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't chew that shit. You just pop that bitch in and just let it sit. And those guys are chewing it like it's fucking beef jerky. I swear that's what I thought it was like when I was like super young. I'm not really paying attention to the dialogue. I'm just watching it. And I'm like, oh man, that looks like some jerky. But they end up chewing on that, which I'm sure they were probably swallowing the juice and not spitting it out too, bro. Oh Lord, and it would meant bad news.
It was downhill from there. It's funny too because all the kids are feeling themselves, right? They're feeling like they're grown. They feel like they're the pros, and they get on, one of those carnival rides, the ones that spin you, and oh boy, they're having a great fun until like. About maybe a minute or two into the ride, you start seeing their faces change.
It quickly turns.
And kids are, I think Smalls takes it out of his mouth with his hand and throws it. People are spitting it out, and then all of a sudden you just see chunks of vomit hitting the floor and hitting people's feet. And then when they get off, you see the stains.
Bro, it looked like they got just chili thrown on them.
Oh my God, that was foul.
Like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make me even like queasy, especially like in horror movies and stuff. Like it's kind of funny how like you can watch certain like even like an arm getting chopped off or a head and all this weird shit, but then you see some throw up and I'm just like, oh God.
Heaven forbid you smell it. You're like, oh God.
Oh, if I start smelling throw, I gotta get the fuck out of there. Like because that throw up has just this
makes you nauseous.
It's just so distinct. I don't know, like even shit doesn't have like that.
No,
it smells bad, but like I don't know, throw up just it's got that special just oomph behind it.
But, that definitely was a highlight for me though.
Honestly, like this, the story of like Sandlot is it's really simple. It's just about a boy moving into a town and trying to become friends with like some neighborhood kids and gets caught up in some hijinks. And so like this movie kind of based on just kind of moments, like whether it's the like the ending or like the chase at the end, or them like trying to figure out how to get the ball back. Or like another highlight is the pool scene with Squints, when Squints becomes a man and
Peppercorn
finds his and who's that actress? I've seen her before. I'm looking at her right now. Wendy Peppercorn.
I think it's hilarious that they got married and they have 9 kids.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
First of all, she was like a high schooler, and he was damn like in 6th grade, 7th grade maybe.
I'm guessing 10 years old, 11 at the most, give like in there.
Yeah.
So like she had to have at least 7, 8 years on him. Damn, I can't find her name on like this.
Marley Shelton? Is her name? Marley Shelton, yeah.
I'd have to see like a picture. Like when I looked at her, I was like, man, she looks so familiar. Like I've for sure seen her in other stuff. But that's like I said, that's an easy highlight. That pool scene when he finally he's like, I can't take it anymore. And then at the end, he's like, Squint, did you have that planned? I've had it planned for the whole time. Hey man, Squint had it all planned.
Yeah, that definitely was a highlight for me. And also the ending is just really fun, right? Where they get the ball back and they go in, they let the old man who owns the house and Hercules, it's his dog's name, into the house. And they learned that this man was a legend. He actually knew Babe Ruth, and he ended up giving them his baseball signed by the Murderers Row Yankees. I think it was late 1920s team. Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, obviously, and he ends up trading the ball in exchange for them just stopping by and talking baseball. This lonely older man who went blind from getting hit in the head by baseball. And yeah, just like it hits a lot. This movie, that's the thing. This movie hits a lot of notes. Yeah. For me, and it's very rewatchable. I mean, highly quotable. You're killing me, Smalls. It hits a lot of notes. Yeah.
Also, even the treehouse scene too. Well, like we kind of touched on it with when Squints is giving giving like pretty much the backstory of the beast. But then like when you're finding out about the s'mores. That's said to this day. I don't think I can ever have a s'more without saying that little s'more of what? You're killing me, Smalls. Like there's so much like that this movie just made its impact on the cultural zeitgeist, on pop culture as a whole. Whether it's just like lines that people will quote to like till the end of time, or even like some merchandise with like Chuck Taylors and stuff like that. I feel like Chuck Taylors became at least really prevalent around like my circle around like watching like the Sandlot and stuff, and just kind of getting into baseball as a whole. Like this movie does like a great job of like kind of making you interested and wanting to go out with like some buddies and just hit the ball around and play some catch or something.
No, I agree. It almost makes you want to join like a softball team. You see, especially parks and Portland this time of year. You see like leagues, adult leagues.
Well, they got that underdog league or something like that, where like they do a bunch of different things. They have flag football, they have softball, kickball. Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff. But I mean, it's hard to get people once you get older. It's hard to get people on the same like schedule nowadays.
Yeah,
to do anything.
That's true.
Let alone like 9 people. Like
forget about it.
Yeah, really.
But yeah.
Do you have any?
I don't. To be honest, I don't really have any negatives. I mean, this story, as we said, is pretty straightforward. There's no real big plot twist outside of, I guess, if you want to say, the reveal of, James Earl Jones, and he was like, "Why didn't you just knock on the door? I'd have got it for you." And everybody's like hitting Squints. But he's like, "How was I supposed to know?"
But it's also stuff we're thinking about as an adult. It's like, of course, kids would think that. Like, you got to think of like when you were a kid too. Like, if some kids are all like, "Oh man," and I think it's when they're in the treehouse, they're like, "Yeah," and the beast ate a kid. And when the kid, or I think it was Smalls, was like, "Yeah, right, you're lying," and he's like, "Yeah, you did." It's that look that kids do where they're dead serious and they're like, "Yeah, I'm for real. It's like they believe this shit.
Yeah.
And so they would react. Like they wouldn't knock on the front door because they would think like it's some mean old man and they got some crazy ass dog back there. So
Just your imagination.
yeah, but then when you find out at the end, he's like, dude, you could have just knocked on the door. It's like, yeah, of course. So honestly, it's not like a plot hole. I'm not saying a plot hole, but it's not like a negative for me or anything like that. It's just kind of fun to look back on where we're watching. It's like, kids, this movie would be about 20 minutes long because as soon as you knock that ball over, you could have just walked out around the corner to the front door and then just got the ball back. But it's really heartfelt too at the end when that's all he wants at the end is just some company.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it was fun too at the end, right, where we get this kind of flash forward where we hear where everybody's kind of splintered off to in their lives and how a lot of the kids started to move away. And then, we see Benny playing for, playing MLB ball. I think he's playing for the Dodgers.
Yeah, playing for the Dodgers. And Smalls is
the commentator or announcer, color commentator,
Mm-hmm.
and they still very much recognize each other. It was cool when, Benny was clearly in the later years of his career, and he ends up stealing home, and he looks up to the announcement box and he sees him and they give the thumbs up. It's just a fun story.
I mean, you can argue that like this is just a story as much about the Jet as it is like Smalls moving into town, but also about Benny becoming like the legend of the neighborhood. Because I mean, he is telling Smalls
pickled the beast.
He pickled the beast, which is like pause.
Questionable. No, that's a quote from the movie. To be clear,
like, hey, you, what'd you do, brother?
You did what to Hercules?
But it is a story of like two different people of Smalls moving into the town, but he's also telling about how the Jet became the legend of the neighborhood and how he was so influential on him as a whole. So
no, definitely.
But yeah, I don't think I have any negatives really to say about this movie. Yeah, I don't think there's any other scenes really or anything else to touch on.
Yeah. Well,
unless you want to talk about something.
No, I was just saying with that. I mean, these pivot to scores. I'll go first. I'll kick us off.
Go for it.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna give this a 4. Really fun movie, a movie that I can rewatch a lot. It's not quite on the tier 1 of other movies from that era for me. I don't know what it is. Like D2 has a special place in my heart. I love that movie.
Mighty Ducks.
D2 the Mighty Ducks. Aladdin will always be really high on my list. I also have a really soft, I feel like this is kind of I kind of put this movie on the same tier as like Hook. I love those movies, but they're not quite on the same level as the other ones that I mentioned, those two.
Yeah.
But Land Before Time, that's tier 1. That's just,
oh my God.
Come on.
You
now.
just unlocked a box that was dusty in my brain. Man, you went
dust flies everywhere.
bro, Land Before Time. Oh my God, bro. I haven't even
Come on now. It was a great movie, though,
bro.
right?
We're
Come
about
on
to
now.
review Jurassic Park 2 pretty soon. Next week that episode is going to drop. But I haven't even thought of Land Before Time.
It's a great one.
Oh shit, man. Is it good? I can't. I don't remember anything about it.
I remember that movie was amazing. Yeah.
Wasn't there a few of them?
Yeah, there was. I only saw the first one, to be fair. I know there was another Aladdin. I didn't watch that.
Yeah, it was what was it called? It was like
Something Jafar?
Return to Jafar or something like that.
That sounds right. I remember that VHS back when they cared about making nice VHSs.
Yeah, I kind of remember it a little bit. I kind of remember him escaping, but like after that, like it gets very hazy.
You know what's funny as a kid? I remember you go to like friends' houses and they had all the VHS. Like, oh, these folks rich.
I know.
Yo, they got all the VHSs, man, and they got a Sega.
Bro, but like those like type of movies had that special VHS instead of like it slides out, it opens up. Like
It was
a
the
book.
clamp. Yeah, the clamp. Oh man,
those
yeah,
are fucking nice.
Yeah, there were so many great Disney ones too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man,
What about you, man?
They should bring that back, but I mean, physical media is just a dying thing.
Yeah.
I am going with a 3.5 because although it is a a very enjoyable movie. I mean, it's super rewatchable. Has endless quotes. Like I said, it's made this impact on the pop culture. But like, it's just not one of my go-tos. Baseball is definitely not one of my favorite sports. I mean, I enjoy baseball usually around September, October when playoffs get around. But it's just not one of my go-to as far as like even kids movies. I will like definitely reach for something else before that. Even like a Little Rascals. I'll watch a Little Rascals or even a Richie Rich.
Oh man,
Dennis the Menace. I'll watch those.
Blank Check.
Oh man, Blank Check, bro. Sandlot it doesn't like it will like if we were doing one of those where it's like you line up 10 movies and you're like 7 or like 3 have to go. It's like Sandlot might be one of the ones that.
Oh, word.
Depending on the lineup, Sandlot could easily be a candidate to be eliminated on one of those things.
Yeah, if we're counting live action and animation, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
but I think it would probably be
just depends.
It's in my top 10. Actually, I think it might be in my top 10.
Yeah, like if it was,
not top 5.
They showed 10 movies and Sandlot's one of them, and they say like keep 7, 3 have to go. Sandlot is like I said, depending on what I'm like, unless the other movies are just some stinkers, whatever. But and even like sports movies, like I'll watch Little Giants before I watch the Sandlot.
Oh, that's such a great movie.
Little Giants is a classic. I love Rick Moranis. He's so funny to me.
I mean, we even talked about Space Jam. I mean, some people are real high on Space
Everybody get up. That soundtrack is legendary,
Monstars.
bro. That movie is fucking awesome.
You got the legend Bill Murray in there too, lacing him up.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, and basketball, football, those type of movies, those are more my sports. So those are the ones I'm going to gravitate to more often than not.
But like I said, I love D2, and I had roller skates, and I had like a stick and a hockey stick, and would play from time to time. But I mean, I didn't really grow up watching hockey or anything like that. But for some reason, like that movie, going back to the zeitgeist, I think it tapped into something. Movie also. Go ahead.
I was going to agree with you with Mighty Ducks because I want to say maybe that had influence on me because I wanted to be a hockey player. That was like my first thing because my sister would like figure skate, so I would go out there and skate. And I was like, man, hockey was just like kind of just dope at that time. But then I don't know, you fall out of love with it, or you just have other interests and whatnot.
I got a movie for you. I'm just gonna give you the hint though. Ivan Ooze.
Oh my God.
Where you got Power Rangers at? No, that movie was so good as a kid.
Power Rangers is I wouldn't even say it's a guilty pleasure. It's just Ivan Ooze is such a funny villain.
Pushing that perp.
Rangers. Then they fucking killed old boy. And he had them all fucking
Zordon.
They had him laying up there all fucking dead and shit. Or actually, he was dying. I don't think he fully died. Man, it's up there.
It starts off on a high note too because they skydive. You know what I'm saying? Remember,
dude? Well, they had the old boy, the White Ranger on the little snowboard.
Hell yeah!
It's like, why do you got a snowboard and you're skydiving? Who fucking knows? But Sandlot, like I said, it comes in at 3.5 for me. Nothing but positives for it. I don't have really anything negative. It's just not really one of my go-tos, but it is super rewatchable. And if you haven't seen it by random chance, definitely go see it. Go see it. Watch it at home.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that is our episode this week. Stick around, though. Next week, we're going to revisit Steven Spielberg's classic, Jurassic Park. We'll catch y'all next time.
Peace.